I'm Jennifer.
I'm Brienne.
And this is Mom on Mom. Divorce. Specifically, the way children are affected by divorce and approaching divorce when children are involved. Mm-hmm. And we are going to have a guest today. Mm-hmm. And so this is going to be, once again, are they all intense? They're all intense topics.
Parenting is intense. Being a mom is intense.
And
it's hard.
It is hard. And it's okay to say it's hard. I think I kind of feel like if you find parenting easy, what are you doing wrong?
And how many people are you paying?
Oh, and have you asked them if they find parenting easy?
Yeah.
Let's dive right in.
All right.
Hello everyone and welcome to a new episode of Mom on Mom. We are here today with our friend, one of our amazing actors and personalities, Geraldine. Geraldine, would you introduce yourself a little bit for us?
I am Geraldine. I am kind of fat. No, I'm just kidding. I work for a federal prison. I have 3 kids. They're all 3 years apart. 22, 19, and 16. Getting ready to turn 17.
Okay, all right.
We have one of those.
Yes, we do. We have.
Yes, turn 17 next month.
But that's not fair. You only have one. You should have about 2 or 3.
What is our problem? I agree. Geraldine, I agree. All I wanted was 12 kids growing up.
That's not fair. You should be hollering and yelling. Somebody around here.
Geraldine is the primary host and show creator of the Blue Forge Films show, Joyful Heart Praise, every Sunday. And I know I don't normally do shout outs like that, you guys, but Geraldine, you're hilarious. That's number one. But also, much like Mom on Joyful Heart Praise, from a Christian perspective, Geraldine tackles really big topics in really honest ways.
Right.
And that is obviously what we try to do here with Mom on Mom. The topic that Geraldine wanted to talk about today, because we like our guests to pick our topic, is not just divorce, but when children are involved in a divorce, whether there's joint custody or there isn't joint custody, if there's child support or not child support, what is that like? How is the best way to deal with that? How do we approach things like that? But before we dive into that topic, let's have our icebreaker.
All right, let's do this.
So we all live here together in the Pacific Northwest.
Here's some hot button topics that fly around. For our icebreaker today, my question to everyone is,
to Starbucks or not to Starbucks? And what about those Christmas cups? Do we like Starbucks, folks? Ladies?
Yeah, I have a go-kart. I have a go-kart. Yes.
I like Starbucks. I think they're delicious. I think they have really good coffee. I think that they are always trying to do better about their hiring practices. They hire a lot of people who are LGBTQ plus asterisk everybody, which I think is really, really cool, especially in Seattle, which Seattle has the highest LGBTQ plus community of the country. And they hire more people in Seattle than anybody else does. Which I think, just to me, that was always really cool. So, the Christmas cup thing I think is ridiculous because if you're celebrating Christmas, you're either celebrating it as an American tradition or as the celebration of the birth of Jesus Christ.
Right.
It has nothing to do with the Christmas cup in Starbucks.
So wait, the traditional Christian tradition has nothing to do with coffee?
Geraldine, will you weigh in on that?
I would have to disagree because God is mad when people just make coffee because the scripture says that he brews. I stole that.
Like, I do not remember that in Catechism at all.
I stole that from Tyler Perry. I don't even care about what they serve my coffee in, as long as I need them to make the peppermint mocha.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's the sin.
Who do I go
The
talk to
sin
about
is
that?
there's no peppermint mocha year
That's
round.
a sin.
Yes.
Someone's gonna burn in the projects of
And
hell.
last year,
Not
they
even
didn't do
regular
an
coffee.
eggnog latte at all.
No?
No
Right.
eggnog
The
latte
eggnog.
all year.
Well, I think it depends on which one you go to.
Oh.
Because the one on 72nd, not advertising, but pretty much have everything that I asked for. But when it's out of season, it's out of season.
Mm.
And I protest because I'm like, you ain't got no peppermint on the shelf? None? You can't throw? I'll be BYOP. I'll
Yeah.
make my own peppermint.
That's right. Just put it in.
I just want them to make it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hand you the peppermint.
Yeah.
You put it in there.
Mhm.
And I find too with, when they have been trying to hire the minorities, from experience of different people that I've known to hire there,
Yeah.
some African Americans, they hire them,
Mhm.
give them a smile, but they nitpick them
Mhm.
until they're ready to quit.
Mhm.
So that way they can't say, we fired you because you're a
Right.
minority,
Yeah.
but you are nitpicking at them
Mhm.
because they are a minority. And I feel that you're trying to get them people to
Mhm.
quit.
I definitely, we've known a couple of people over the past 10, 15 years who have worked there. And I have to say, there was some practices that I wasn't super happy about. It always seemed to go back to the manager. But
Yeah,
I'm kind of like, okay, so then my advice to Starbucks would be, you guys need to do way more
Diversity
human
in
relations
your managers.
training and
Mhm.
diversity
And
and
your
more different
managers.
hiring in your
Mhm.
You
managers.
need to make sure that your manager is on board.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that your managers pay attention to the little slight aggressive type little racism
Yeah.
stuff that goes on.
Yes.
And I don't mean just of color, I mean of anybody of the
Oh,
LGBT.
totally.
Yeah, the different
Everybody.
isms
Yeah.
and
There's
focus, yeah.
I
any
had
type
a-
of, words or some comments that are made, and if you hear that comment, you don't let that comment slide. You get on top of that
Right.
and end it and let them know this ain't the place.
Yes.
I had a friend
Yes.
who
I
had
like that.
who was trying to get a job at Starbucks because she had worked there several years previous, and she applied, which this is definitely not going on now.
Mhm.
But she applied at our local Starbucks, and she did an interview. And what they told her is that they were going in a different direction,
Yeah.
like they were looking for a different look.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and she was an older, rounder woman.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because I've noticed that now they have people who are older, they have people who are of all different shapes, but that was definitely going on. She ended up hired somewhere else and it was fine.
Yeah.
But that is always hard because a corporate policy can be one thing,
Right.
but how it's played out in the actual stores.
Because I feel like the promotion and the publicity work that they do seems to make them out to be this company that is very inclusive. But, like
that's definitely their goal, I would
right,
say.
I feel like their goal is, but
I
it
think
needs,
But actually
I think-
implementing.
I
Yeah.
think the big dogs, I call the big bosses, owners
Yeah.
and stuff,
yeah,
that's theirs. But when
yeah,
you're actually in that place, the managers want around them who they feel comfortable with.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't want to put my daughter's business out there, but my daughter, they kept telling her, you gotta talk to the people, you gotta talk to the people. And she actually had one person look at her eyes, and you know how they are, she's going through that skin coloration, and just laugh at her. And she's still trying to be, politically correct, professional, and help them out. But he just laughed at her and was like looking at her and laughing at her like, don't even talk to me. And when you get that type of situation and then you get managers in the back talking about, you gotta talk to everybody. It doesn't matter that they're on the phone. You gotta get more. It's like, when I come and I wanna buy my coffee here in the morning, if I'm on the phone, I wish you would interrupt me
Yeah,
without asking me, did you want a straw or or a napkin to go with this.
Yeah,
But if I'm like, I just want to give you my gold card, because that's what I have for.
that's right.
Or I can just mobile app. Once I tell you, I come to the window, do you have a mobile app for Geraldine? And they say, oh yes, we have it right here. Then I don't want to say nothing else to you. I
Oh,
just-
right.
Can you go to the window with mobile?
You just get to the
You just changed her life,
You just
Geraldine.
changed
Oh,
my life.
yes, 'cause
That's the only thing I don't like about the mobile app is then I have to go in. And I don't want to get out of my
window.
car.
No, ma'am.
Oh,
go.
so you just pull
As soon as
through.
I get out of my bed, I said,
Yeah,
what do I want?
yeah.
Oh, nobody woke up. Do I want to?
I just got a free tea yesterday.
Did you?
I did.
You know what? I got a free drink, but I didn't know why I got the free drink. I just came up and they were just like, oh, this one's on us. I was like, really? Stop it.
This is when you can talk to me.
I love you so much. If I come here next Tuesday, will you have one? Yeah.
How many do I get? No.
What is the good time to come to Starbucks and get the free drinks?
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so it sounds like we're pro
Yeah.
Starbucks, but we're putting them on probation. We'd like to see a little bit more diversity in hiring.
I mean, I'll put it this way. They're not on probation because I'm still going to go. I'm just going to find the right one, but I'm just
Okay.
saying we are paying attention.
We are.
Yeah, I like that
That's
actually.
what we're doing. We
Okay.
are paying attention.
All right, so I think now that we've solved Starbucks,
Yes.
let's go ahead and dive into our topic for today.
Oh,
Okay. So I'm just gonna jump in here real
Okay.
quick. So I am feeling not very knowledgeable about this topic.
Hmm.
My parents have been married since 1985. And while I have been divorced, there were no kids involved.
You personally have,
Yeah.
yes. So you didn't live through a divorce as a child
Right.
and
And I haven't had a divorce with
That
kids.
was-
with kids. I mean, I think that that's really honest to say.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
you did, however, come into a situation when we met, I had 2 children.
That's true.
So that, I mean, that is, I
Yeah.
think we're gonna get to that part.
That's-
because
Yeah, I
think-
definitely have a step-parent perspective.
Yes. Now, my personal background is, I personally have never been divorced, but my mother was with my father until he died, but he died when I was 4.
Wow.
And then she was with someone else, and then that relationship was a long-term live-in, this is my 2 parents relationship. And that ended, and now she is with the current, her current partner.
Okay.
So I feel like it is, though it was, her relationship was not legally binding, it was just a live-in type situation.
Right. But it
Yeah.
showed the example
Yes.
Yeah.
of what.
And
Do you
it's-
think they would have been married? had
I
they could?
think, so I mean, obviously you guys, I'm not trying to be obtuse here, my mother was with a woman, and at that time it wasn't legal for her to be married.
Right.
But I think that if they had been legally married, because she came to the relationship with biological children,
Right.
I don't know if it would have been any different.
No.
But I
No, I
will
don't think
say, it influenced my thinking as an adult in terms of if I have a friendship or a relationship with another adult that
Right.
ends, what is my attitude about whether or not that adult can see my kids? Oh, you see,
Right,
I already
right.
slipped up and gave my opinion.
Right.
My kids.
Right.
So Geraldine, tell us where you're coming from and let's
Well-
start there.
Well, I've had 3 marriages. This is my 3rd, and my 2nd one, I had kids.
Okay.
So now this 3rd one, I'm a stepmother as well as being a mom. So I have a whole lot of different points of views and what I do, but when it comes to being a step parent sometimes, because there are 2 parents in that situation, I step back unless I'm asked. But now if the child is in my presence, I'm going to treat that child as if they're mine. So if I would whoop mine for that situation, that one gets whooped too. If I would go off on mine for this, then that one's gonna get go. I'm gonna go off on that one too.
Yeah.
And that's what that's such a touchy thing of having kids, and because like when I was not with my biological children's father anymore. he wasn't paying child support right off the jump. And so I had people telling me, oh, you shouldn't let them see him. Oh, you shouldn't let them be. I'm like, whoa, pump your brakes.
Yeah.
Because whatever relationship that he builds or destroys, it's going to be on them. It's not, I'm not going to talk bad about the man. If he don't come or he don't call them for their birthday, I'll be like, you want to call your dad? You know what I'm saying? I'm going to try to pump it and promote it.
Yeah.
And I think all parents should realize the importance of having that particular parent in their life. Now, if you're trying to help it, that's what you should be doing. But if that person chooses not to be a part of their children's life, that's a whole different ball game than you just be the pillow when them kids fall for each okie doke that parent, male or female, brings out. Because I met a man who had 5 children and the wife left. Now that's rare.
That is.
Normally, you gotta drag a mama from, but she's like, I want a new life and I don't want the kids. And she just rolled out. So the kids heard her say that. So whenever she wants to call and play a part, he doesn't say, oh no, remember, you didn't want to have nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
No, it's not, and I'll talk to him in a minute. No, it's not your job to do that. Your job is to comfort them when she's on the phone with them, trying to butter them up and make peace and lies, make empty promises, don't come through, and you gotta be like, well, she probably meant to, well, she probably got a reason, you gotta be that pillow and that soft-spoken word.
Yeah.
Because in the end, kids will turn on you in the end. When they realize, man, I didn't have a relationship with my dad or my mom because of you. You're the one who kept giving this person a hard time every time they'd come around. And you're the person that would start an argument with this person and then they would leave and we don't even get to spend time with them.
Yeah.
And because I didn't have that done to me, I know not to do it to my kids.
So if the absentee parent is going to mess up, let them mess up on their own. Don't add to.
Don't add to it.
Because I was about to say, can I just stop you and say, holy moly, how incredibly progressive and loving and Christian in the best sense of the word that is to say, your dad didn't call you on your birthday? Baby, come on over. I've got his number right here. Do you want to call him? Here, you could. I mean, like, wow. And I was about to say, I don't know if I could do that. And then I'm like, but I love how, no, you're like, oh no, Jennifer, I'm not Mother Teresa. I'm literally saying, well, I don't want to be the person that my kids look back on and go, were you the reason? Did you keep us apart?
Or
no.
If they hear you on the phone, no. Remember, you didn't want to do this and you didn't want to do that. No.
And it's not right to use children as pawns, because actually now I'm going to jump in because this is making me think of a family member. I'm not trying to call anybody out, but a family member who did go through a divorce and who had 2 kids from that previous marriage, and she would use them as pawns all the time.
Oh yeah.
Not only with her ex, but also with our family.
Yeah.
If you don't do what I say, well, you're not going to get to see the boys.
Yeah. And it will backfire.
And it just it's so toxic and it's so ugly. And eventually they're going to realize you're the reason. You, mom, are the reason that I didn't get to see this person and this person and that person.
I don't have a relationship with them. And then you see the success or the failures of everything that they're doing. They're realizing that, wow, I've always wanted to be a famous diver off a diving board.
Yeah.
And you never let me go with my uncle, and that's what he does. Why didn't you let me? Why were we always arguing? Why couldn't I go around family? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And I look at the fact that you have young ladies with their moms, and they're kept from their fathers who's really trying to be a part of their lives. But you're coming up with all these excuses. No, they need to do this, and no, they need to do that. They get promiscuous. And they'll always come back and say after the doo-doo hits the fan and the rubber meets the road, they're always going to say, well, if I had my dad, I wouldn't have did this or I wouldn't have did that. If I had my dad, he'd have been there. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and it comes back where they think about that. Well, Mom, you had your dad. Why would you even think to try to keep me from my dad?
Right.
My kids, I never. If we were going somewhere, I would include my kids. Now, if it was Disneyland or somewhere, I actually purchased the tickets or stuff, and their dad says, hey, I wanted the kids this weekend. Oh, well, you know, can you get them next weekend? Because I actually purchased the tickets and I bought blah, 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 but then you can have them. Well, I've had somebody say, well, why does he get them whenever he wants to? Because he's their dad. And I would never deprive.
Yeah.
And
He wants to spend time with them.
you have to go
Right.
as far as
Yeah.
it might cause friction in your right now
Mm-hmm.
beautiful marriage and relationship,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to eventually, it had to come out of my mouth. He has priority over them.
Mhm.
Yeah, we want to take them over here to this family event with, with your family, and we want to, and I got that.
Mm-hmm.
But he has priority. So even if he decides at the last minute, and if I ain't paid no money for these jokers to go somewhere, they're gonna go with their dad. Because he has priority.
Yeah.
And did that upset my spouse? Yeah, it upset my spouse. Because he feels everything that he does, why does he get priority?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that's the same way your ex should be with you, with your daughter. But he doesn't get that. So when you don't get it,
Yeah.
you can't understand why somebody else is getting it.
Right.
And I'm like, you don't determine his worth.
Yeah.
That's his kids.
Yeah.
So you can't dictate, well, if he's not doing this and he's not doing that, then he's not worthy,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
to
that's
be more
not
priority
being a
over
parent.
me.
Yeah.
And I'm telling
Yeah.
you, he has more priority. I don't care what he does and doesn't do.
Mhm.
But, it hurt. At first, I could see it in his eyes that it hurt. But
Yeah.
it's something that has
he's
to
there
be
every day.
established.
He's trying to,
But
sure,
it
absolutely.
has to be something
But
that has to
still.
be established from jump.
Yeah.
And then my kids with their dad, it's a relationship that they've built or he hasn't built.
Mm-hmm.
And my son used to go like this all the time. I don't want to go with dad.
Mm-hmm.
How come? Because he let his wife pinch me and stuff. I was like, what? I said, did you tell your dad? Yeah, but he doesn't do nothing about it. So that, as a mama, that's when I get on the phone.
Okay.
Look, I'm going to let you deal with her because I'm not going to deal with her. That's yours.
Mm-hmm.
I said, but if you don't deal with her, then that's when I will
Mm-hmm.
deal with her.
Well,
Yeah.
no, that's fair.
I
Yeah.
said, but I give you a chance to fix the situation, and if you don't,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm gonna be tagging somebody.
Mhm.
I'm just gonna show up,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not gonna be nothing nice.
Mhm.
I'm nice by letting you know the situation and the problem that you're not.
Absolutely. Here's your heads up.
Exactly.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
and other than that, I don't get involved. Me and my husband now are going on, this July will be 11 years. But on his 10-year birthday, I never get involved with his daughter and his ex, period, ever. When it comes to, I let them do all the talking.
Yeah.
But it hurt his feelings on his last birthday, of what she did and what she did with his daughter and trying to hurt his feelings and just ruin his whole day. I think that was the first time I called her and actually became non-Christian-like. Oh, no. Yeah. I said, hey, Jesus, come on, meet me over here. In the closet, and I locked the door. Got on the phone,
I gotta make a phone call.
and I
Jesus is in the hall closet.
Yeah.
Geraldine.
I lit her up, and then she hung up the phone in my face.
Mm.
And then I heard God in there, don't call her back. I said, that's what he said. That's why he's locked in there.
Can't hear you,
Yeah,
Jesus.
yeah, can you
A
right
lot of
now?
coats in that closet. Can't hear you.
Lot of anger.
Yeah.
So, and then, there's just a time where one day I checked it. And once I checked it, I felt better.
Yeah.
The daughter got offended and picked sides. But I tried to tell her, I said, and you try to put it in a language that they understand. I said, say you have a boyfriend.
Yeah.
And you're in love and you got his ex-girlfriend on the side, just dogging him out, making him feel like crap and just talking to him like, what would you want to do? You want to keep it separated, right? She goes, yeah. I said, but one time it's going to irk you, one time too many. You're going to just want to tell that ex-girlfriend, you don't have no rights to that.
Yeah.
You don't have no privileges to say whatever you think you want to say to this person.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, yeah, Yeah, you're right. You know, so she understood at that point, but she also had to stay loyal to her mom. And I think that's what parents don't understand. They get into a situation where all of a sudden, when your kid is agreeing with you not to go see their other parent, you got to look at the backdraft of all of that. When she comes here from Texas, we are like parents. There is no boyfriend. There is no, and if there is a boyfriend, you're not staying on the phone with him for hours and hours and hours at a time, and we gotta wait and put off 3 and 4 hours before we can even talk to you or before you'll be able to. No, we're gonna squash all that. You're up here, we're gonna have a good time, you know, and we're gonna be on. You're gonna clean your room, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that,
And you're gonna spend time with
and
us.
we act like parents.
Right.
Well, down there, she's treated like a friend by a parent. And I'm like, you can't be buddies and friends with your parent, because when they're looking for that guidance, they're looking for somebody that knows what they're talking about.
Right.
And they're looking for somebody to go tell their friends, oh, I can't do that, my mom will do this, and my mom will do that. Sometimes they like them stories, they're healthy.
Absolutely. Right. The parent becomes their out.
Oh no, I definitely had times when I was like, oh, my mom said I can't, sorry.
Yeah!
But again, absolutely
Yeah,
let us be that for our
But they
kids.
start getting into things that they don't need to get into because
Right.
you're too busy being their buddy and their friend.
Yeah.
And then you want to go to the other parent, hey, can you step in because they're starting to do this and they're starting to do that.
No,
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
well, we're not your belt.
No.
What you
Right.
should have been doing is maintaining the whole parenting right across the board. But you don't have that. And it's really sad that parents will go as far as putting their parent down just because they don't live in that city or that town or that state, and putting them down because they can't see what that parent does or what
Right.
they don't do.
Right.
And I don't like keep using my husband as an example, but my husband makes all kinds of sacrifices. You know, there were times where she'd have an attitude, I'm not even gonna put her on the plane, and he done already bought the ticket and everything, and then that just happens to be the Christmas that you don't put on the plane that his mother dies. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's just like, everything is like, what for, why are you getting, and he doesn't take her to court for contempt of court or nothing like that, because he could.
Yeah.
But so he doesn't try to be the bad parent, he just wants a relationship
Yeah.
with his child. And that's what I feel sorry for parents that really try to have a relationship with their child,
Yeah.
and they're denied because of your personal agenda of
Yeah.
trying to hurt that person.
Yeah.
But in the end, it flips. That child will really be upset with you because you deprived them of a particular benefit. It's a benefit of having two parents. There's a
Oh, yeah.
benefit
Oh, absolutely.
for having, you know, even a stepmom. I'm cool, but I got some good advice. I've been there and told you, look, this is what you gotta do, this way.
Yeah.
You wanna do this, you gotta do, you know.
Yeah.
You wanna get to your dad, this is what you gotta do. You know, and I'm gonna hook them up the best way possible, but, or it could go the opposite. When they turn against you, they've really turned against you, and it's not until years down the road when they have kids, then they realize. I would say this, I think
Yeah.
the saddest part about when a parent is using a child as a tool is that the other family members don't get involved. They don't say, hey, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Hey, no, you shouldn't tell that child that. Hey, and the bad part about it is when you put down that other parent, even if they're adopted, even if the kids are adopted, they're still, that parent that adopted you had you from a baby.
Yeah.
So there is something of them in you. Characteristics, something.
Yeah.
And when you're dogging that person out, putting them down and dogging them out, you're really saying half of you is no good. Half of you is petty, half of you is garbage, half of you is,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
And all the negativity that you're throwing at that child, you can't just think you're just lashing out
Yeah.
and they're not absorbing it like a sponge. Because that's exactly what's happening.
Now, I want to touch on this, and I think that, you know, I always say to, like, our guests, when I reach out to other moms, I always say, you know, this is not a debate show, this is not an argument, or like The View, or something like that.
Right.
you know, I'm just like, I want
Well,
moms.
far less dogs on the view.
You know, I just want moms to see that overall, you know, we're always supposed to get along with everyone our age, or we're supposed to get along with everyone at our church, or we're supposed to get along with everyone who does the same job that we do. And often that's not the case. But as moms, I have found, by and large, I get along with other moms,
Yeah.
like almost across the board. But
Well,
so,
and relate really easily.
yes, but so
Yeah.
this is something that I think, I'm not trying to bring up a hot button topic, but
No, no,
I
no,
am
no.
interested in hearing what you guys have to say on this. So I have found myself in a situation that I never thought that I would find myself in, and that is, you know, like I said, there was someone that was in my life for a long period of time, let's say 10 years.
Okay.
And when that relationship ended,
And I'm gonna call it, I don't wanna call it a friendship because I feel like it became very toxic. And so that's not even the right word, you know,
Right.
but
Yeah.
when it ended, I was actually like, okay, this was the right decision. And I was like really at peace.
Right.
But the children were like, we do not want to see this person.
Wow.
like they saw, and now, and it's been like almost another 10 years, but they saw some of the toxicity that I did not see. And over time, they came to me and was like,
It's
you know,
been 7.
it's been 7 years.
Yeah.
Over time, they were like, you know, Mom, actually, this was my experience with this person, and and I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, you know, nothing horrendous, nothing
Right,
horrendous.
right,
I'm not
yeah.
trying to go too dark here, but
Yeah.
Geraldine, what would you say? Where would you stand? What if a divorce happens and the kids say, just flat out, I don't want to go? You know, Dad is supposed to have us on the weekends. If the children, and not just like pouty, I don't want to go, but like, Mom, I don't want to go. And they can articulate to you why,
Yeah.
but they don't want to talk to the father either.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm tying this into divorce. It's
Right, no.
not, but you know what I
it's
mean? I
good.
did feel like, should I can't believe I've been saying this, but it did cross my mind. Should I make them? This is someone who was in their lives for 10 years. Should I make them go do something social?
You know, I would think if, and this is just my opinion,
Absolutely.
if they were at an age where they really couldn't articulate and then I'd pay attention. And if they don't want to go and they can't talk, they don't know, they can't put it into words.
Yeah.
Say if they're real little,
Yeah.
like 1 and 2 years old,
Yeah.
you got to read that body language because they don't want to go for a reason or they just don't want to leave their mama.
Yeah.
My son was, I don't want to leave you by yourself, then you'll be all alone. And I'm like, that's when the party starts. But,
Mom wants to take a nap. Moment of honesty. Moment of honesty.
I just had to comfort him and let him know I was going to be all right. But then when he got to a certain stage where he just did not want to go, and he would tell me, I don't want to go. Because this, that, and, you know, he just run it down why he don't want to go. Then as the perfectly good mother, I don't say, well, you don't have to go. He's not coming. No, I say,
Right.
oh, he's not feeling too good. But I didn't make him go. There was an excuse and there was a reason.
Right.
And it was a good reason.
You protected
It was
your
a
son.
parent reason because if I come up with the reason, it's gonna be really good. Now if I just let him come up with the reason, I just don't want to. I
Yeah.
don't like it. It's just boring over there. You know that's not a good enough reason.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I was like,
Sorry,
oh,
Dad, you
this
can't come and
shit-
swallow the
this
Lego.
This
Yeah.
joke has been throwing up all night. You know, you gotta make it real deep, like you coming from the soul of this lie. Gotta get the bowels of the souls
I
of this
just
lie.
feel like Jesus was in the closet again for this one.
Oh,
you know?
yeah, yes, you do, because you literally, you're not supposed to. But, you know, I say, you know, no one's ever shown me a scripture where I couldn't make up something.
Well, I mean, and to be
It's
honest,
alright.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm teasing you, but I mean, obviously,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
want to
I-
hurt
I
the
didn't
father,
wanna- I
and,
didn't-
yeah, I mean, so I
wanted
get it,
to
yeah,
make sure the water was smooth.
right,
Because
yeah.
when he does want to go, I don't want the other parent
Yes.
to give them a hard time. Oh, I thought you didn't want to go. Oh, now you find out we're going to Disneyland and all of a sudden you want to go.
Right.
I don't want it, to
Yeah,
go
just keep it
that
smooth.
way.
Yeah.
I kept
Yeah.
it smooth. I made up a perfectly well-rounded lie
Mhm.
that you can use randomly anytime.
And Geraldine will be publishing that book, Lies You Can Tell Your Ex-Husband,
Your ex.
this fall.
Male or female.
That's right, X, just X.
Yes.
Person.
That's right,
Lie You can
yeah.
tell your ex to keep you
I
home.
think, I think for me it really depends on the situation. I think if the kid can articulate the reason,
Yeah.
then that's kind of like, okay, now where do we go from here?
Yeah.
If it's like, well, I'm just gonna be bored, or I just don't want to leave you because I love you and I'll spend time with you, that kind of thing. I feel like that's a like, okay, well,
You gonna go, because I need my weekend.
come
free.
on, right? Come on, Johnny, let's get in the car and I'm gonna
Yeah.
take you to your dad. And yeah, it may be boring. It's gonna be boring here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not doing anything special here, so you need to go spend time with your dad. It's important.
Yeah.
I think if it's a reason like we had,
Mhm.
where it seems like the reason is actually like a lot of like emotional manipulation and which I see as emotional abuse. I'm like,
It is.
then we're into a realm of abuse
Yeah.
to which I say, oh hell no.
Yeah,
Mhm.
not gonna.
No, if that kid says no, they have their autonomy.
Yeah.
They're allowed to say no.
Yeah.
I think if the kid won't articulate, they won't even say like, oh no, it'll just be boring. I would say, or they're just like, no, I don't like dad, I don't want to see him, or I don't like mom, I don't want to see her.
Yeah,
Then I'm like, maybe counseling needs to be the way to go.
yeah.
Is to get them to
Really
come from an outside
Yeah.
now perspective and say, okay, so you are my ex, who's the father or mother of my kid.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys need to talk. You guys need to build this relationship.
Or you never know what's really going on when
Right.
you go with that person, because you'll find sometimes that even though they go with the ex, they end up with the ex's new boyfriend or girlfriend, and you don't know how that person is treating your kid.
Right?
Yeah.
And then when they really can't talk, they just know that they keep pinching them, or they keep thumping them, or they
Yeah.
keep, they're mean,
Yeah.
or their kids are mean to them.
Right.
Then they're not gonna want to go. I don't want to go. I don't want to
Yeah.
go. And
It's like you have to become an investigator at that
Exactly,
point
that
and figure
and
out like what's
know your
going
kid.
on.
Know
Yeah.
your kid, and
Yeah.
it's a way that a kid will say, "I just don't want to go." No, then you're like, "Oh,
Something
something's
serious
up.
is going on.
Something's
Yeah.
So no,
Yeah. This isn't like a whiny complaint. This is like an escalating into a deeply
This is something
emotional
happening.
thing.
Yeah.
and I would still
Yeah.
want to get them a counselor,
Mhm.
because
Oh,
a
yeah,
counselor
absolutely.
has a way
Yeah.
of tools of getting what's really going on out of
Yeah.
them.
And they're an outside person who's not going to think, oh well, now mom knows, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
They're someone completely different.
Mhm.
yeah.
And they can also see things from an outside perspective that you as a parent may not be able to see.
See,
So talking about, emotional manipulation and this kind of thing.
What about, and we hear, this is also, I always try to, because obviously, I know that we are a show, so I do talk a lot about, like tropes that we see in society, in film, in television. What about that trope of one parent in a divorce, one of the parents is talking badly about the other parent in front of the children? What kind of coping mechanisms? First of all, that blows my mind because of what you just said, Geraldine.
Yeah.
How
It
can people
happens.
not get it? Do you understand that you're insulting 50% of your kid?
yeah,
And you don't think the child doesn't take that personally?
They do.
yeah.
Because, my gracious, so if you find out that something like that is happening,
Right, and we did. We
what
found
is the
out
best course of action?
that our stepdaughter was kind of distancing from me because of the things that her mom was saying, and I just had to reassure her that whenever she came up, whatever her mom was negatively saying, that she didn't find that in me. You get what I'm saying? She
Yeah.
actually had fun with me, where, I actually communicate with her, I actually
Yeah.
talk with her, if I gotta fuss at you though, I'm still gonna fuss at you, because why? You still have to be trained and you still have to learn.
Yeah.
And so that's all that was. It was like, you change the atmosphere and prove whatever they're saying is wrong. And what's gonna happen is they're gonna grow up, yes mom, I know mom, but then when they start talking, She's not nothing like that, Mom. You always say that, but she doesn't do that. Anytime I go up there, she doesn't do that. She doesn't do that. My dad doesn't do that. What?
Yeah.
What? You don't even know. You're not even there. And then it comes to bad talking when that person is just giving them facts. You're not there. You don't know what's going on. Why are you making up stuff?
Right.
And then you got to remember that if that was an issue in their relationship, doesn't mean it's going to be that same issue in this relationship.
Right.
So I might have got the better part of that person that you threw away, or that y'all just couldn't make it work. But I might not be getting what you're getting. I might not be getting a cheater. I might not be getting an abuser. I might not be getting a, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no.
This person could change their life around
Right.
and get with somebody else.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I would be mad too
Yeah.
if I had to get the garbagey part of this person and you're getting the best part of this person.
Yeah.
A person that wants to be dedicated and love you and
Right.
shower you with compliments and stuff when you didn't do that other person like that. But you can't blame the new person.
Right,
in
yeah,
their life.
absolutely.
There's something about them,
Yeah.
and this person that went through their changes. Either you got to be patient enough to wait and hope that it changes, or realize it's not going to change at all, and you're going to live with that, or you're going to realize that this person is somebody else when they're with you.
Yeah, it's, the old adage, people say, people never change. And I always want to, whenever I hear someone say that, I want to turn to them and say, have you never changed? Are you exactly the same? Someone who knew you when you were 16, you've got the same attitude today at 40 something to 50 something. Really?
Yeah.
Really? Because I know that it feels like especially if we have someone who's toxic in our lives, we're like, my gosh, they're doing the same things. People never change. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe they do change a lot. Just the thing that you don't like
Okay.
is something they haven't changed.
But they
or
say
whatever it is.
once a cheater,
But people
always a
can't.
cheater.
Yeah.
But I had somebody that, yes, they cheated almost every day on their wife. But then when they met this other person, they didn't cheat at all. But then when you met the new person is crazy. The new person, you don't know when that person gonna show up. And you see what I'm saying?
Maybe that's what they needed.
And that's what they needed. See, you weren't what they needed.
Fascinating.
You were just passive, and he cheated.
Yeah.
He cried, and you accepted and apologized. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But nah, this chick was like, I think she would kill this brother.
Yeah.
So there was no, and it's, where you at?
Huh.
You ain't at work because I'm outside your shop. Well, what do you mean you're, oh, you on your way? Well, where did you go? Well, I'm gonna go get something to eat at, like I said, you don't know when that person
But
is
like
gonna
clearly,
show. That
that's
person
what
will
he
be
needs.
on the phone with this cat
Yeah.
and just walk in, just checking. And then he never
But he doesn't
cheated
cheat.
and took some other female to another state or not, cause she'd be right there at that airport. What do you mean? What's going on?
I actually love that.
Yeah.
Sometimes
I do
people
too.
don't
You have-
change. They
you
need to
need-
change who they're with.
Yeah.
Because that's what he needed
Yeah.
to keep him on the straight and narrow.
Yes.
Well, and because every relationship is two people, and they're both individuals.
Mhm.
And if you change out one of the people, that relationship will change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not just going to
Yeah.
treat every other person the same way.
Yeah.
And you got to remember too, sometimes it's the way you get them is the way you're gonna either lose them or keep them. If
Yeah.
you were playing hard to get the whole time, he liked that chase. Even when you're married, make it a little difficult every now and then.
Absolutely.
They be like, she just like that man. I don't know what she had. Because they like going to work talking to their friends about, man, I tried to do this, blah, blah, blah. Oh, she just went crazy. Man, I can't do that with her. She just went crazy. You know, they like that stuff.
It's a challenge.
And this
Yeah,
is the
it's a
crazy
challenge.
part, because they go like this. Man, she had a nerve throw a frying pan at me. You know what you do? Man, I didn't think I did anything, but that thing went frying pan. You know, when they go telling the story, everybody's like, oh my God, what?
Yeah.
She crazy. Yeah, I think she's crazy, but I love her. Yeah,
That's right.
they go that.
Yeah, but like that's a universal rule. You do not cheat on a woman who throws a frying pan at your head because you will die.
Nah.
You will die.
And you don't mess around, she's just going to show up at your work and be like, oh, I see
And
you're
you
here.
don't know
That's
when
okay,
she's
bye.
gonna show
Yeah.
up.
I that.
I remember this one female, she's telling me about when she was dating this guy. He really kept asking her out, right? And then she came driving up on his street one day, just out of the blue. And he talking to this girl and rubbing on her hand. And I said, well, did you get mad? She said, mm-mm. She said, I rolled down my window and said, you sure want a lot of sugar for a dime? She said, I rolled my window up and rolled up. There comes Miss Coco, running down the I told you I like you. I told you I do like you. And that's all she had to say. But they've been married now for over 30-something, 40 years. So I just think that's just so funny. Is everybody needs who they need
Right.
in their life. And when that person comes along,
And just because someone is good for you or you're good for someone doesn't mean that you'll be good for other people or they'll be good for other people.
yeah. Or that sometimes you could be a good person and they could be a good person, but you're not good for each other.
You know, one of the things that I think I did do wrong in this situation that I'm saying, you know, is a similar thing where you have someone that's in a child's life for a very long time, influential in their life, you know, and then they're gone because of a decision that a parent makes. I will say, and again, I'm not trying to slam myself, I'm just saying I know that this wasn't standard, is that I felt like I wanted to process, like with Brianne, you know, when this happened, you know, and all of this bad stuff happened, or the kids would witness an aftermath, like because of things this person had done, Brianne and I were now having to do X, Y, and Z with the business, or A, B, and C with the house, or whatever it is. And what I did is I just was like, I wouldn't talk to the kids about it at all. And now, nothing. I mean, it was as if, because the children didn't want to see this person at all, I like went kind of maybe too far above and beyond, as if they hadn't existed. Because I'm like, any time the person was brought up, the children would become so upset. And so I'm like, okay, I need to not, I mean even like mentioning a positive, watch, that's all that I mean.
Right.
Because I wouldn't bring up a negative at all. And it was just like this erase, you know, because I was like, I don't want them upset, I don't want them upset. Looking back now, like Brianne says, almost 10 years, 7 years.
Yeah.
I wish that we had as a family processed, you know, like, okay, these were some of the consequences. These are some of the things that Mom and I had to deal with.
Right.
How are you guys feeling about it? You know, this kind of thing. So, Geraldine, in your experience, when you know you were dealing with consequences like a money thing or you know something like that, how did you deal with that with the kids? Because you don't want to slam the ex or the person who's not in their everyday life anymore.
Right.
But at the same time, this is simply the truth.
Yeah. You know, with me, from my experience, I can only tell you what I did.
Yeah.
This cat blew up a credit card and blew up so much stuff on the side that, you know, there were times that I didn't have enough food to feed my kids. I couldn't go get it just on credit or a credit card or something because I didn't have no funds. I was low on everything. So like when I couldn't get my kids a birthday gift because a check was being garnished for something that person did, I didn't go to my kids and say, see, now if your daddy hadn't did this and your daddy was at least paying child support, then you could have your Christmas gifts and you could have.
Yeah.
I would scrape up, borrow, pay Peter and not pay Harry and, you know, rob Peter to pay Paul or something like that.
Yeah.
And sometimes Charles didn't get paid, you know what I mean? But, you know, you go make the sacrifices that you made. And a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, I had gifts under that tree with their dad's name on it that I purchased.
Right. Yeah.
And then I would text him, hey, this is what you got the kids. Because the last time I didn't tell him, and they were like, Daddy, thank you for... He's like, what? I didn't get you that. I said, yes, you did. You gave me the money. You see what I'm saying? So I had to go. But then, and you try not to slander. You really do.
Right.
But what happens is like my dad.
Yeah.
I did not know my dad talked to the judge to manipulate that man where he did not have to pay child support. I didn't know that. Growing up, I found out being in the military, the government, the military gives you money for having kids. So it doesn't even affect your check. They give you a separate check
Yeah.
for your kids. And he kept it. At no time did my mom say, your old selfish daddy didn't do this.
Wow.
I thought it was arranged, and my mom led me to believe that my dad got her the house, and his child support was to pay the mortgage.
Hmm.
So I'm thinking this big old $13,000 house, I didn't know it was $13,000. It was only $50 for mortgage. So my mom was, of course, being forced to pay that mortgage,
Yeah.
$50 plus
Hmm.
buy us clothes and all that stuff.
Right.
And so
Yeah,
I was,
food, everything you need.
let
Yeah.
me see, 38, 39 years old.
Yeah.
My dad sitting out, running his mouth. And that's why I said, let kids find out from their parent the negative stuff on their own.
Yeah.
And this joker was like, yeah, I told that judge. The judge was like, ordered me. Then he made me pay $16. And I said, I'm not paying nothing. Now all these years, I buy my dad's round trip ticket, be it the airplane, bus, whatever. And then whenever he comes, I buy him a whole wardrobe. I get rid of all of his clothes and just buy him a brand new wardrobe, from underwear to socks, coat, shoes, everything. This man goes back with brand new. When he said that, I looked at him, and my husband, now he just got there, like 3 days, and we're just talking because we have that kind of relationship. I told my dad, I walked over to my husband, he need to get the H out of my house, and I mean now.
Yeah.
And he said, babe, he's like,
You can't do that.
he was, he was like laughing. He was like, I said, I'm effing serious. And that's when he knew that I was straight serious, because I was furious. And I looked at him and I said, let me brace you for something. Out of your selfishness, you cost me a way of living when we didn't have a whole lot of food. I had to wear my uncle's hand-me-downs and get talked about and clowned because there was a bulge in his pants, and I was already a tomboy, so they kept calling me ugly, your boy, you know, girls would try to flirt with me and stuff, and just they didn't care nothing about my feelings and what I had to go through. They didn't know what I was going through, and I had a flashback of all the stuff that I went through, not having enough school supplies, not going, I didn't like the Puyallup Fair. And they're like, why you don't like the Puyallup Fair? Because I never had money to go to the Puyallup Fair, but they would give us a free ticket, and my mom would put us on that bus, and we'd be at that place all them hours,
Right.
from early in the morning till late at night when that puppy closed and the bus brings us back, and I haven't had anything to eat.
Right.
I don't have no money for games. I gotta watch other people play the games,
Yeah.
get on rides.
Yeah.
I didn't get, so I hate the Puyallup Fair.
Yeah, we were literally just talking in another episode about our family tradition involving the Puyallup Fair. And what's fascinating is that, interestingly enough, and Brianna, I've talked to you about this, my school used to have that same field trip, and everyone got that free ticket. I hated it. I just wouldn't get on the bus. I would go and, what is it called, play hooky. I would just skip school that day because I'm like, I'm not going to go and spend all day while I watch other people go on the rides and other people.
Eat.
I'm like, I can't even eat. Everything is so expensive, and like that's so fascinating.
Expensive.
Yes.
I didn't have no money.
Right, exactly. Oh yeah, no,
With
yeah.
rent in my pocket, and then this one
Yeah.
of my friends was like, supposed to be my friend, she was like, eating the last bite of her food. Do you don't have no money or something? Are you poor? Why would you come? Why would you can't do anything. You know, they hurt my feelings even more so.
Yeah.
That then they would just group together, let's go get on this and let's go. And I just stand out there waiting for the bus to come back.
Right.
I can't wait for the bus to come back.
Right.
And then, so now that I'm grown, I didn't take my kids to the fair. Their dad take them. Or another family member would take them.
Yeah.
I would send the money, but I didn't like being there.
Yeah.
So,
How could you?
No.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
no.
Yeah.
And that goes to play a part about even when the kids don't want to. I believe that you don't make any mistakes when you don't talk about it, because you're going to talk about the ex when you're ready. But if you're sitting around and you finally just have a time where it's just a downtime and you're just sharing,
Yeah.
let them get it out. Then you'll get it out and you'll be like, what? I didn't know that. And then you might have a story that's not as bad, but compared to like you didn't go through this by yourself. This is what I went through.
Mhm.
And it's similar, you get what I'm saying? So there's still that healing process of each other
Yeah.
being healed and processing. And you would have to be the biggest strength of it all, because you'd have to hear it all and filter it and it would be hard for me not to kind of lash out with my friends. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure LaMantra, I thought they were outside and she'd come in the back and we're talking and I'm like, "That Joker, let me tell you what he had in her to do," But that was my venting and getting out.
Yeah.
And she'd hear it, but it's still because of the way I treated them with their dad.
Yeah.
She still built her relationship with her dad. So finally, she just told me this like maybe a few weeks ago. My dad was crazy to leave you. Because you're a good woman. You're a hustle. You get things done.
Yeah.
You go, And the crazy part is he didn't have to work. I just told him, if you just let me budget the money right,
Yeah.
you can have whatever you want. Just let me budget it right.
Mm-hmm.
But he got impatient. And then he got selfish. And then when she gets selfish, it's not bashing him. That's just the type of person that he was. He just wanted to concern himself about himself. And so because everybody else was in the way, babysitting his own kids or it was in the way of what he wanted to do, that he just rolled out. And sometimes you gotta let people talk about their upbringings, because you'll find if their dad was even around, or if their mom was even around, or if their parents were kind of selfish, then you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it's like my husband now wasn't he's affectionate now.
Yeah.
He's just all over me now. But in the beginning, I was like, I need affection. It's like you can't have a pet or an animal sitting there and you just, that's my wife. And you don't show me no love and no affection. I'm thinking, you don't love me, or
Right.
you don't want to be with me.
Yeah.
But it was him telling me about his upbringing they didn't even say I love you, they just showed it. You know what I'm saying? They
Yeah.
did what they were supposed to do. Dad
Yeah.
went to work,
Yeah.
Right.
bought furniture, bought cakes, son,
Yeah.
happy birthday, They
Yeah.
did what they did, but it was a shocker when we got ready to leave and I said, "All right, you guys, I love you." They're looking around like, "Oh, what are we supposed to say?" Yeah. And then I said, "You don't love me?" I love you up in this mother sucker. And I'm like, "Yeah, we love you too. You're so crazy." But it took years of them getting used to.
Yeah.
And they already knew what was coming, because when I look back and I'm getting ready to walk out the door, yeah, I love you too. All right, I love you.
Yeah.
And then it was like his mom. I was like, "All right, I love you, Mom." "All right, we love you too." I said, "I didn't say I love we. I said I love you." "You don't love me? You don't love me?" She was like, "I love you." "You're so funny." That was their way of getting used to,
Yes.
saying I love you. So finally, I heard my husband getting off the phone. He was like, "All right, sis, I love you, and I'll talk to you later." And then you hear her, "All right, I love you too. You make sure you call me," And so it was like, I didn't say that I started it, but I know
But
I
you
wasn't
did.
doing it before I came into
That's
the picture.
right. Because
So,
love
yeah.
is contagious.
It's contagious.
It's contagious.
Love, and God is love.
Whew, all right, you guys, we have come to the end of another episode of Mom on Mom.
Oh.
Geraldine, thank you for joining us. And I'm just going to embarrass her again. And I'm going to say, you guys,
Geraldine is all kinds of insightful, all kinds of honest, all kinds of funny every Sunday on Joyful Heart Praise right here on the Blue Forge Films Blue Flicks channel.
so please check her out.
Can I say one thing?
Yes, you can.
I don't care how much you're in love with the person. If you get a divorce and that person just doesn't want to be there, do not commit suicide. Suicide is a permanent solution for a temporary situation that's going on. And I really want you to take my advice and do this. Go to Vegas! Okay. But yeah, go have some fun. Don't, yeah.
I'm not sure about the Vegas part. All right, well, if Geraldine says it, I guess. But I do think that that's powerful, and I think
Yeah.
actually we all need to keep in mind about all things. So much of life
Yeah,
is
because a lot of
temporary,
people
and
And a person can
They can't
feel like
live
your
on.
whole world, your
Yeah.
whole world,
is
yeah,
gone.
but you still have yourself.
Yes.
At the end of the day, you always have yourself, and you can always change yourself, and you can always change your location, change
Yeah.
your situation.
Yeah. How women get out of it is they start planning
yes.
and moving forward and being prosperous.
Mhm.
And that's how you make the last person regret they left you.
Yes, that's right. And revenge is so sweet.
Yes.
I will say there's another show on our channel called I Am Dax, and the woman who is the host there is Dax Justice, and she recently did a piece where she said, she's just talking to the camera,
Yeah.
and she said to anyone, but especially to women,
Hmm.
don't leave just because you're panicked. Make your plan
Yes.
and then go. And I have to tell you, I run camera for her, and because my hair is big, but my ego is not. And so that day, all I'm doing is I'm just running camera. And part of me was like, no, no, no. If you're in danger, if you're in a negative relationship, you need to just go. But the more I listen to her, the more I realize she's like, you will wind up dead if you just take off without. You have to know where you're going. Don't
What
wind
you're
up
doing.
under a bridge. Don't wind up. You know,
But to prep,
plan. Yes.
to prep,
Yeah.
go on trips.
Yeah.
I think
Mm.
anybody needs a girls trip or guys need guys trips.
Yeah.
But that is my sanctuary sometimes. When me and my husband now was having, little problems because his medical condition, he didn't think I wanted to be with him anymore. So he was pushing, and I'm like, I didn't know it yet.
Right.
But then once I just had a thought process and said, he's just trying to push you away because he thinks he does. I said, I just looked at him in his eyes. Listen, I'm not going anywhere. I love you to my core. We are intertwined. I am in love with you and I'm not going anywhere. Once he heard me say it,
Yeah.
everything was good. But I started taking girls' trips. I had to go. And so I went to Dominican Republic, Hawaii, I just got them trips out the way. And once I come back, everything was filtered, everything was good. But if I wanted to have a plan, I had a plan because I had plenty of time to think about it in a restful relaxation area.
Yeah. Plan, guys.
Plan, proper
Plan.
planning.
Plan what you say about your ex before you say it in front of your
Yeah,
kids.
yeah.
And plan your life.
Yes.
There you go.